So today we talked about how the FBI used illegal and inhumane tactics to surveil and disrupt political groups. And we also touched on how a group of activists found this out and exposed this to the American public. So make sure you tune in for this very important and informative episode, especially because it's Black History Month. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode. If you tuned in last week, then you know that Flim is no longer with us. But I do have a very special guest with me today. I've known her for a very long time. She moved here all the way from Africa.
You're so stupid. Oh my God. Hey guys.
That was a Mean Girls reference.
Yeah, that's my friend Mel. Jesus Christ.
How are you guys?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, tell the people 3 things about you.
Okay. I'm a Leo. I'm a dog mom to an amazing but crazy Shih Tzu Maltese, and
Bougie.
She's really bougie. Her name's Cutie. Come on now. She's really bougie.
We'll pop up a little picture of her.
Yes. And I love those little dip tacos. Yeah,
What
I
is
like
that?
them. Are they called Berea or Berea?
Oh, Berea tacos.
Yeah, I can eat those every day.
Dick tacos?
What? The dip tacos.
I'm about to say, this is a PG-13 podcast.
That sounded perfect.
No penis.
PG-13 is crazy. Because
It's definitely not PG-13.
the stories, I'm cracking up. But yes, happy to be here, guys.
But yeah, so today we are going to be talking about the C word. Do you know what the C word is? I also said this last week. That episode hasn't come out yet. But do you know what the C word is? This is a different C word than last week.
As in the forbidden C word, the one you can't say in school.
What is that? No. Corruption.
What? That wasn't nowhere near what I was thinking. I thought we were talking about curse words.
No, corruption. Last week, the C word was cult.
Nice.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about corruption.
Nice.
This is kind of in honor of Black History Month, but technically it's not because I was going to do this anyway. It just happens to be Black History Month. But I'm going to be talking about another C word called COINTELPRO.
Oh, cool.
Do you know what COINTELPRO is?
No, educate me. What's that? No,
you know what COINTELPRO is?
I don't know that word.
I don't even
For
think
real?
I've heard that word before, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
COINTELPRO?
Yeah. I thought people knew about this.
Educate me. What's
Okay.
COINTELPRO?
So, COINTELPRO was a secret government program ran by the FBI. It stands for Counterintelligence Program. And basically, it was this secret program that was illegal. And it came out, it was between 1956 and 1971.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about why it was super illegal and all of that. But it touched a lot of people's lives, specifically. No, not even, it's primarily Black people, but it touched a lot of people's lives. Some names you might know, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, a lot of different people.
Okay.
So we gonna get into it. So, like I said, it was ran by the FBI. It was created by FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, and it primarily targeted civil rights leaders, anti-war activists, and other political groups that basically the FBI was like, you're a threat. You're a threat to what's going on. So the program, the reason it was such a big thing when it came out, well, when it was exposed, because, you know, spoiler alert, it did become exposed to the public at some point.
Okay.
It was a big thing because it involved a lot of illegal tactics and just like low blows type shit.
Okay.
Like, you can't listen in on wiretaps without a warrant, but they were doing that. You know what I'm saying? They were sending infiltrators to infiltrate political groups, and you know what I'm saying?
Just some illegal stuff.
Just illegal shit and this is from the actual documentation. It said with the sole purpose to surveil, discredit, and disrupt these organizations. Right. So the existence of COINTELPRO was revealed in 1971 when a group of activists broke into an FBI office and they basically stole all the fucking files in the office and they leaked it to the press.
Hold on, low key. So while they were tracking the civil rights activists were tracking them.
It wasn't civil rights. Well,
Well,
it was anti-war activists who
anti-war
did it,
activists.
but technically, yeah.
But they were on to the FBI being on to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is really going to be the story for today of like how that whole shit happened.
Nice.
But before we even get on that, because a lot of people don't know, well, I'm assuming a lot of people don't know because y'all didn't even know what it was.
Educate me, girl.
I want to kind of go into. I can't even go super deep into it because it's so deep. We would be here for like 2 hours, but I want to just give some type of context, right? So, like I said, they conducted massive spying on anti-war activists, Black people, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans, whoever was just like, and we know like during that time, like the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, it was very much like a lot of political movements going on.
Yes.
A lot of people were like, nah, y'all not ready to keep violating my rights.
Yes.
Type shit. So.
Standing on business. Sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, but they was about their shit.
They was standing on standing on business.
I'm about to say, let's be for real. They standing on more than
niggas now. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
Proceed, sis. Proceed.
But yeah. So some stuff that I found was that in the FBI DC office, every agent was required to get 6 ghetto informers.
Girl.
So the 6 ghetto, and just think about it, right? Every agent has to have at least 6 ghetto informers. I'm talking specifically for the Black community, right?
Okay.
Imagine if it's 50 agents and every agent got 6 informers.
Damn.
What's that? Do the math.
Fuck. I am not a math person. I have an English degree. That's
300 informants just off of 50 agents.
That's kind of steep.
It's a lot.
Kind of steep, actually.
It's a lot. They would recruit informants as young as 18. Ooh. Some agents found their informants so randomly, literally going through the phone book and just being like, I'm going to pick them. Like, it wasn't a lot of strategy in this when it came to certain things. It said the FBI tried to convince even college administrators to control student protests. Okay. They had FBI files on people that span literally decades, even if nothing was discovered. So if you were, let's put you back then. Let's say you went to a Black Panther info meeting and you was like, I'm not going to join. You could have had a file on you for the next 20 years. But simply
because your name,
just because you went.
You was there and you put your name, girl.
Yep.
That make you think.
That make you think.
So
most of the files when they was discovered listed harassment as the goal.
Okay.
What else? And it said, their intent was to build these massive files on other people to intimidate them. Mm-hmm. So some of the organizations who you might have heard of before that were targeted by COINTELPRO was, of course, the Black Panther Party, the American Indian Movement, which is Native Americans, the Gay Rights Movement, the Anti-War Movement, the Young Lords, which are Puerto Ricans.
Oh, cool.
The Chicano/Mexicano Movement, which is Mexicans, the Civil Rights Movement, the Environmental Rights Movement, the Socialist Workers Party.
So all these parties were being targeted by
all
the
these
FBI?
people were being targeted, surveillance, because all these people was like, y'all do fucked up shit in this country. And
they calling the FBI out on it.
We calling just the government, but calling the country out. Right. So one of the first groups that was said to be targeted by COINTELPRO was the independence movement. Well, I guess it wasn't a group. It was more so a movement. But the independence movement in Puerto Rico. Okay. So I'm going to touch on them just a little bit, and then we're going to keep going. Mm-hmm. So just for context, I'm not trying to get super history here, guys. But
give us the facts.
But y'all got to have context to understand. So we know Puerto Rico was initially colonized by Spain, and then Spain gave Puerto Rico to the U.S.
You getting history. Yeah, give it to him. Give it to him.
Puerto Rico.
If you didn't know,
Spain gave Puerto Rico to the U.S. So technically now, like, it's a U.S. territory, but we know it's not a state. It's just a territory. Mm-hmm. So back then in the 1950s, well, not even just the 1950s, since Spain gave PR to the U.S., it's been split down the middle. Well, I won't say it's split down the middle because I don't know. But there's people who want to become part of the U.S., like want Puerto Rico to become a part of the U.S. Okay. And there's people who are like, no, we need to stay independent. Like, we need to be an independent entity, right?
Gotcha.
And so I looked up, like, well, why would people want to be independent, right? So apparently, since being under U.S. rule, the island's resources have been sold to the highest bidder.
Damn.
The island now has the same universal health care system. No, I'm sorry, doesn't have universal health care.
Oh.
And they did at one point, but it's been replaced with the U.S. model. So it's thousands of people without health care. A lot of people who are wealthy in the U.S. will go to Puerto Rico and purchase tax-free properties. But people in Puerto Rico can't do the same thing because, exactly. And it said 58% of the island's children live in poverty. And it's been a health crisis through the last couple years because of bombing and military testing, like increased rate of cancer, asthma, diabetes, etc. And this is something that definitely happened in the U.S. to Black women, but it happened to Puerto Rican women as well if they were being sterilized from the 1930s to the 70s. Well, that's what's documented. Yep. And then it was some whole other shit where they was injecting Puerto Ricans with cancer. That's some whole other shit. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't want to take on no American identity or pride at all because I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. So that was just some background of why Puerto Ricans is like, no, fuck y'all type shit.
So do you think with this kind of background information of just what they were doing to Puerto Ricans, do you think that's why maybe their, like, I guess group was like the first to in a sense rebel?
Yeah.
Is that not rebel, but like
I'm gonna get there. So because of all of this, it was a big like independence movement in Puerto Rico.
I believe
and it kind of almost mirrors the civil rights movement.
Wow.
And like it in the sense of it was very like they was like, we're gonna be peaceful, we're gonna go about this shit peaceful. And they have their own thing with like police brutality, and that's when they was like, nah, like fuck all that peaceful shit. I might even tell the story on a podcast, but I forgot her name. I think her first name was Lolita. I don't know what her last name was. But like she was on some G shit. Like they went to DC and like shot up the Capitol type shit. I might tell that story because that shit's some G shit. I think she passed away. Well, she might be alive. I don't know. But I might tell that story. But yeah.
Bitch, you got me fucked up.
but yeah, once they started, even before it got violent, right? When they were just like, we need to separate ourselves from the U.S., the FBI became involved. So so COINTELPRO was the first, they target PR first.
Yes.
And the goal was to destroy the independence organizations because their actions was drawing world attention to Puerto Rico.
Gotcha.
So the FBI planted informers, agent provocators to create conflict and confusion and paranoia, right?
Okay. When you say planted, is that like planted in the community? Like in their community?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. They tapped phones. They followed people home to intimidate them. They would go as far as paying FBI informants to infiltrate families. So I saw one quote. It wasn't a quote. It was a video. And the lady was saying how her sister married this guy and he was in the cause. He was for the people and all. They had kids.
Ooh.
And at some point, a whole bunch of people got locked up and he was gone.
Oh, married and kids. Now
that's how deep the day was going with that shit, bro.
My question is, as an informant, what kind of things do they have to have on you to like even like sacrifice your life to that? Because like you're literally like, okay, this is my new life now. Like I'm an informant.
I don't even think. Well, they get paid. So I think it's both. I think it's I don't want to do jail time, and I think it's and you gonna pay me?
And you gonna pay me? Yeah, fuck it. Flirt with her, marry her, have kids, get to know her family, then dip out when you come arrest her.
Especially back then, they ain't got no internet. And if this is going on in Puerto Rico, bro, and you live in Puerto Rico, and then I'm like, I'm gonna be an informant, and I'm gonna go back to fucking North Dakota. You never gonna see me again.
Well, not in today's age, because
not today. Niggas gonna find you real quick.
Not in today's age.
Real quick.
Damn, they had a good.
But yeah, as y'all listening, I want y'all to remember we are in a time where there was no internet, there was no iPhone, none of that. There was no TikTok,
no social media. No, that was not.
They was just vibing. They were just vibing. So in December, and now I know we jumping right. We in the 50s right now, but in 1999 is when it was revealed that the Puerto Rican police had compiled secret files on thousands of Puerto Ricans. These files was called carpetas. And basically these was all the people that were under surveillance, whatever.
Okay.
But these specific files called the carpetas, they was used to imprison people, ruin their careers, fire them for their jobs, terminate their education. So if they was in school, like they might can't get their bachelor's degree, they can't, you know what I'm saying, get their master's, and permanently discredit them, even if they weren't members of the independence movement. Now, they were just building these files on people who, even if you was affiliated. So even if you say you was in the movement, right. And I was just like, and we was, and then you know how we are, and we just hanging out, they might build some shit on me and have that shit for the rest of my life. And I'm not even doing nothing.
Damn.
That's how bad it was.
So again, you don't know. But you don't even know. So this could just be your home
right. This didn't come out till 1999. People didn't even know this till 1999.
But they got cases being built on everybody. Now, everybody. My question is, how intense are these files? Like, what's in the files that's being so built up that you can literally get discredited for so much?
So what I saw, it wasn't even what's in the file. Okay. It was just having the file. So what I saw, and I'll put the documentary and the links and everything in the shit. But the accounts that I saw, people were saying like it was shit like wedding invitations in the file. It was like it was just dumb shit, just built, but just having the file itself, the idea over you. Yeah, just having the idea of the file was like, oh, like it's some shit on you, even if it wasn't nothing in there.
Girl, I'd be pissing my pants. I'd be like, what do you mean you have a file on me? Because I don't do
nothing. But that's the whole point.
I know it's a scare tactic. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But that's just the Puerto Rican, involvement with the COINTELPRO.
Right.
We know MLK, he had his own run-in with the FBI. If you don't know, after his I Have a Dream speech, the FBI wanted to bring him down. And that's when they started putting bugs in his office, the wiretaps. They sent him the suicide letter. And if y'all don't know the suicide letter?
Yes, I've learned about that in like middle school. Okay. But you can... Okay.
If y'all don't know the suicide
I learned
letter,
about that in middle school,
they sent him the suicide letter before he got, 2 weeks before he got the Nobel Peace Prize, and he was like, kill yourself, and he was like, no. So that's what he's like.
That's real nigga. No, because actually, I will survive. Like, fuck you.
Good.
No one do that.
And then we know the FBI first opened the file on Malcolm X in 1953 and monitored him over the next decade. And then it was once the COINTELPRO files came out. Quote, it said, do something about Malcolm X. Ooh. And then I don't know if anybody has watched the Malcolm X docuseries on Netflix. It came out that the FBI was involved in his death.
I believe it.
Yep.
I believe it.
Which is COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO is the FBI. FBI is COINTELPRO. Then we know the Black Panther Party, of course, they were targeted the most out of everybody.
Oh.
And then just evidence of that, you got the Panther 21 trial. If you don't know the Panther 21 trial, 21 members of the Black Panther Party in New York were charged with, it was like a conspiracy for a bombing.
Okay.
They all beat it. And you might be like, oh, well, they beat it. But that whole situation, like, fucked up the chapter in New York because it was like the head leader. It was like all the leaders were locked up for like 2 years. So that shit, they did that shit on purpose, bro. We know in the Black Panther Party, they would send letters to fuel rumors, specifically between Eldridge Cleaver and Huey P. Newton. I might do an episode on that. I don't know. Then we know about Fred Hampton. His whole death was really assassination. The FBI took credit for that. If you haven't seen Judas and the Black Messiah, go see that. Yeah, have you seen it?
No.
You just go see it. Lakeith is in it.
That nigga don't take care of his kid. I saw that on Twitter. Lakeith Stansmith, that nigga from
a lot of things.
I heard he did not. Oh my God, I saw this on Twitter with Lindsay. I heard that he didn't claim the child that he had by the baby mother or something like that. But I heard he don't take care of his kid. I'm not really pro.
I do not.
Men who don't take care of their kids. Even though I don't got no kids, but you know.
It's a lie.
That's regardless of the point. I will check the movie out.
Okay.
It speaks on.
It speaks on Fred Hampton's murder. Well, specifically, okay. So Lakeith's character is the informant. He plays the informant. So in real life, Fred Hampton, I believe it was his bodyguard, was an informant, and the apartment that the Panthers were in. His informant gave the layout of the apartment to the police.
No.
And the police came in, and I forgot how many shots it was. It was a lot of shots, but they killed Fred Hampton. And fuck, I forgot his name. I forgot the other guy's name. I'm sorry.
That nigga from Get Out.
Yes. He played Fred Hampton.
Daniel something.
Daniel some yeah.
I like it. See, that's a nice British black man. I like him. I like British black men. They're interesting. Okay, I gotta.
I'm gonna let you have that.
What?
But yeah. And in addition to that, is also Geronimo Pratt was somebody else who was prominent in the Black Panther Party, and he was framed for murder by COINTELPRO, and he spent 27 years in jail because the FBI informant lied on the stand. So these are just examples of how deep COINTELPRO was. It gets super deep. I'm not gonna even continue to keep going. I'm gonna just go to how it was exposed.
Yes. Let's get to the exposure.
Let's get it. So the plan starts with a guy named William Davidson. His name is also Bill. We're going to call him Bill. You know.
Oh, yeah. All Williams are called Bill.
They're called Bill. So we're going to call him Bill. So Bill was a professor at Haverford College. He lived in Philly. He was an anti-war activist, and he was involved in a lot of the movement opposing the Vietnam War.
Okay.
So he was like, I think they watching us. Like, I think the FBI is watching us. And I want to expose these niggas.
Yeah.
I want to expose them.
Yeah, Bill.
So, at the time, the way he got the idea was at the time people would do what's called draft break-ins. So, back then, they were getting, men were getting drafted into the war.
Yes.
And because there were no computers, guys. And, so they would literally have draft offices with files.
Yes.
So people who were in the anti-war movement would break in these draft offices, steal the files, and like burn them or destroy them, so people wouldn't get drafted. They was standing on business for real. They was not with none of that shit.
Yo said, I'm breaking in, I'm still all this shit, and you're not gonna draft no. Ooh.
Some people got caught, but
of course,
that's how it go. But from that idea, Bill was like, okay, I want to do that. But FBI, right? So you might think like, okay, how the fuck you're gonna break into an FBI building?
100%.
Security is crazy. Now, they did have crazy security, right, for FBI buildings. However, back then, I don't know if it's just still a thing now, but back then they had smaller offices throughout cities with less security. So they didn't have big buildings everywhere. They did have those, but they also had like very small offices.
Okay.
So he looked up in the phone book and he found a small office that was located on the second floor of an apartment building in Media, Pennsylvania.
LOL with the phone book. Like what? You just looked in the phone book and was like, ooh, FBI office.
That's so 1970.
What is that? LOL.
But he ends up recruiting around 8 people, 3 women and 5 men.
Okay.
And all the people he recruited, he knew like they were in the anti-war movement with him, but they wasn't like friends for real.
But they all had the same mindset.
Yeah, everybody knew each other. So he was like, I know they're gonna be down for real.
Perfect.
So he like, all right, I got the plan. Well, I got what I'm gonna do, and I got the people. Now we gotta choose the date.
Yeah.
So they decided to choose March 8th, 1971. Why did they choose March 8th, 1971? Because this was the day of the Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier fight. Now, if anybody knows anything about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, I believe they fought 3 times. They fought 3 times. I know you. You like this.
Girl, I don't know. I don't know.
So they fought 3 times.
Nice.
But the first time they fought, they was competing for the heavyweight champ title. So basically, just real quick. So Ali, he got drafted for the war and he didn't go. So he got arrested and he couldn't fight for like 2 years. So on his hiatus, Joe Frazier became the heavyweight champ title, the heavyweight champ. And they like, oh, you're not really the heavyweight champ because the real heavyweight champ is sitting right now.
Exactly.
So this was his first fight trying to get his title back, Ali.
Oh.
So it was a big thing. So everybody was like, oh yeah, we gotta watch this shit.
Cause I'd have left work too, like, nah, nigga, I'm at the fight.
Right, exactly. So that's why they chose that day. Because they was like,
Bill being smart. He
Bill
said,
was a smart guy.
Nigga gonna be at the bar watching a game. You're open. Let's go.
Exactly.
Smart
Bill was
man.
a really smart guy.
Very
so
smart man.
He chose that day. So basically, the next step they had to.
Also, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Muhammad Ali young, he was fine, girl. I just have a picture in my head. I just had to say that he was fine.
We gonna have him pop up.
I'm gonna put a picture. He's fine. Okay, go ahead. Well, was fine. Yeah.
I don't think.
When you see the picture, you gonna know what I'm talking about. I'm like,
I don't agree. But okay.
So they went to everybody went to the fight.
No, we not there yet.
Oh, we not there.
That's just why they picked the day.
That's
we
why
not
they picked,
there.
right.
So the next step, they had to case the building, so they had to surveil the building and all that. And then they was like, all right, we need to see inside the office.
Okay.
So for one of the women, her name was Bonnie.
That's a cute name.
Her name was Bonnie. Bonnie, wake up.
She was trying to resuscitate. First of all, bitch, she got shot. Ain't no saving the bitch. She's dead.
I'm sorry. If y'all don't know what we talking about How to Get Away with Murder.
Can we get some How to Get Away with Murder fans?
When Bonnie died.
Oh my.
Bonnie.
I'm sorry, but Bonnie and the nigga, what was the white man?
Fuck. Max?
No.
Frank!
Them both died coincidentally. I'm like,
yeah.
So Sherrod, what's T? Because
Miss Rhymes.
Miss Rhymes, what's T? Because like both of the niggas ain't die.
I hope y'all understand the reference. If you don't, I'm
gonna watch the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the picture. I'm gonna put the picture. But
Go ahead.
So yeah, they used Bonnie to go in the inside.
Yes.
To see what it would look like. So Bonnie called the office and she made an appointment with the head of the office. And she said, hey, I'm a college student. She wasn't a college student. She was 30 with like 3 kids. She said, hey, I'm a college student and I just want to interview you to learn about more opportunities for women in the FBI. So they was like, yeah, come through.
You know what? I love the sneaky bitch.
She was a sneaky
your way in there.
So she go there.
Okay.
And she was also, like I said, she was the anti-war movement.
Yes.
So she knew that they had pictures on her. So she disguised herself.
Oh.
So she wore her hair up. She wore glasses. She don't never look like this. And she wore gloves to make sure she didn't leave fingerprints.
No fingerprint. I love a smart girl because if you're gonna do the crime, do it right.
Do it right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Do it right. So she meets the guy in the office or whatever. She's looking around the room. She's there for like an hour, and she tells, the team what she sees.
Exactly.
It was no alarm, and there was no security cameras.
Okay, that's when the FBI.
Yeah, that was very. That's some cocky shit.
That's what I'm saying. You think just because you in above an apartment building and we so secretive, nigga? I just got up in there, figured you out.
Exactly. So they was like, all right, bet, like we good. We gonna go forward with it.
Bet.
But they did have some, some concerns.
Of course.
So one concern was that it was a courthouse across the street, and this courthouse had 24-hour security, like a 24-hour security guard that was always there. So they was also scared about the residents because this is an apartment building.
You did say that.
So there are apartments across the hall, and all up and down the building, right? And then a couple days before the burglary, one of the guys in the group abandons the group. He like,
God, they a man down.
He like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm out.
Oh nah, it wouldn't have been no option. You know the plan and everything. Nah, nigga.
Yeah, a couple days.
You know the plan, and you say I'm just gonna bounce.
So they were scared.
Yeah, because he's gonna expose them.
But they still went through with it. So the day of, they met at a motel at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And they decided they were gonna dress up. So they dressed in like suits and like skirt, like a pant skirt, pantsuit skirt, whatever. So between 7:30 and 8, the guy, his name was Keith. He was like the lock man. So it was his job to break into the lock. Like he was like dedicated. Like he took like a locksmith class.
Yo,
like he was really dedicated.
That shit's like intense. I seen a video, like a YouTube video of how to pick a lock. That shit's for real. Like,
you gotta be patient.
No, like that shit's for real. I'm like, I don't know, cause bitch, just knock this shit down.
Yeah, let's just break down the door.
But kudos to him,
Keith,
getting up in there. Okay.
So Keith, he goes inside, he goes to the FBI office, and when he go in there, when he goes to the door, he sees it's a new lock.
Son of a gun.
So the first lock that they originally saw was there. Like the way he'd been practicing the pick, but then it was a second lock, and it was a bike lock. I'm gonna show you a picture.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yes.
So you gotta have the key.
Yes. He don't know how to pick that shit.
He don't know how to pick that shit.
So he panicking. He like, everything's going through his head. He like, okay, this wasn't here a couple days ago. Like, did they know we was coming? What's going on?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he goes to a payphone and he called Bill and he like, Bill, what we gonna do? And Bill like, all right, come back to the motel. So he goes back to the motel.
I love how that nigga just was like, so I'm not gonna break it anymore. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, he like, nah.
He's gonna try again.
He like, nah. So they go back to the hotel. This is the same night though.
This is the same night.
So they go back to the hotel and what they realize is that, and I'm gonna try to explain this in a way it makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe school. I'll say school. So have you ever been in school, right? and it might be an office, but how can I explain it? Like there'll be a main door where you can enter, right? But when you go inside, you can see like on the right there's another door, but they may have put like chairs against it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Jameer, do you know what I'm saying? You wasn't paying attention.
Like you enter in the room.
You enter into the main door.
Into the main door.
But then when you go inside, you realize that there are maybe two doors on the other side, but it's like chairs up against it. So those people don't use those doors. They're usually locked. Okay.
Exactly. I'm understanding.
Okay. So they realized that about the FBI office, that it was the main door, but then there was another door that they had locked.
Okay.
So he was like, all right, I'm going to break into that one.
The one that was like...
the second door.
Got you.
So, but Bonnie told him that it's a cabinet. It's a big-ass cabinet up against the door.
Okay.
So he had to, like, make sure he didn't knock that bitch over.
Ooh, like a filing cabinet?
Like a big-ass filing cabinet. So he was scared, but he got in. He got in, and then the rest of the crew came with 2 large suitcases, and they took every file out of every cabinet because the cabinets wasn't even locked.
You know what I like? If you don't succeed at first,
try
again.
It.
Like,
try it.
They said, hold on, brother. Don't sweat. We just gonna go back and try it.
Exactly. So they went back and they tried again.
Wait a minute. Have you on the cocky? How ain't nothing locked up? You know what?
I bet they shit locked up now.
What do you mean nothing was locked up? That even makes...
I think it might have been one. I think it was like one thing that had one safe.
But the mere fact that they could just steal anything, that's crazy.
They basically took all the files.
Jeez.
So after they took all the files, they went to Bill's friend's farmhouse.
Smart.
And here is where they actually analyzed the files, because they were big on, they didn't want to release anything that was a threat to like national security and stuff. So
because then that threats everyone.
Right.
In here. Yes.
So they like, all right, let's look at the files. And in the files is it basically documents the widespread surveillance of the public, just the American public. It doesn't even go into what comes out later, like with the Black Panther Party. This is just basically saying like, oh, we're watching them and we're listening to calls, but it doesn't go really deep into what COINTELPRO, because technically this wasn't COINTELPRO.
Right.
This was just FBI doing fucked up
I was just
shit.
about to say, you probably will answer, but I guess I'll ask the question of sense of like, you said they're different branches, right? So does each branch have a different kind of target that they're following, a different kind of focus that they're focusing on?
What you mean by branches? Or you mean by like the program?
Yeah, you said like there were different buildings in different cities, right?
So, okay, yeah.
So, like, for example, a building in Baltimore, they're focusing on the Black Panther. A city in Chicago, they're focusing on the people in PR. Like, is it like... I don't have
that information, but...
Because I was just curious, like, when they broke in, they stole all the files. Was the files on, like, a certain kind of category of just, like, information? You get what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I will get to it. Okay. But what I will say is the information that I gave in the beginning of the story was not in these initial files.
Gotcha.
It was not in these initial files.
That's why I was like, whoa, am I tying it together like that? Okay.
We didn't get there. Gotcha. These files were just basically saying that people were being watched, and the intent of the FBI to surveil people and intimidate them.
So basically Bill's suspicion was correct.
He was yes, he was correct. So they was like, all right, we was right. Now what we gonna do? Gotcha. So they said they decided to copy them and distribute them. So John was another guy that was in it. John and Bill were both professors. So they took the files to their campuses and they made copies or whatever. And then after they made copies of them, they mailed them to senators, representatives, and journalists.
Messy.
So it's a mess at this point. It comes out. Well, I can say this. Okay. So when the senators first got in, the representatives, they wasn't trying to say what it was. They just was like, oh, the FBI needs to be investigated. Okay. So the public didn't see it at first. It was just these senators and representatives.
Okay.
But when the journalists got it, a lot of the journalists were scared to release it because the FBI was like, no, we need these files, blah, blah, blah. And it was the Washington Post who ended up releasing it.
Oh, they released
it. They was like, fuck y'all, we gonna do it. They did it, and then that's when everybody else followed. And the lady who actually wrote the book, who I got some of the research from, she was actually one of the journalists to receive it. But we're gonna talk about her later.
Okay.
But yeah, the FBI was mad. They was like,
we're exposed.
We're exposed. Like, what the fuck we gonna do? Specifically, J. Edgar Hoover. We're gonna talk about his ass later. Talk about later. But he was mad. So at this point, all of the burglars, they decided, they was like, all right, we can't be in touch with each other.
Absolutely
we can't be
not.
seen with each other. Like, we on our own.
Yes.
So they decided to just, take their space. But the FBI was really cracking down because they really thought it was somebody in the anti-war movement, which it was.
Which is technically, yeah.
Right. So they were cracking down on a lot of people. They were questioning a lot of people. 3 people out of the group ended up getting questioned, but they didn't even have anything that like stuck for real. They just was like, they was really grasping at straws, but they was trying to intimidate everybody.
Was it one of the names you said of the people who got questioned? Like, was it like Bill? Was it Bonnie? Was it?
Yes. No. Wait, Bonnie's husband ended up getting questioned at their house.
They came to their house?
Came to their house, and luckily Bonnie wasn't there. Woo! Because they also recognized, because they drew up a sketch of Bonnie.
Oh no, that would
like it was like some skin of the teeth type shit. It was some skin of the teeth type shit. And Bonnie and her husband, I believe his name was John.
Okay.
They had children.
Oh, kids.
And they was out here fighting a good fight.
Good for them.
So in April 1971, Bonnie, she opened the door. She got a knock at the door. She opened the door. She like, oh, who are you? No, not who are you. What's up? Guess who at the door?
Bitch, who?
The nigga who dropped out of the burglary.
Bitch, I'm not playing with him.
He said, yeah.
I'm really about to bang.
He said, yeah, I'm thinking about turning y'all in.
You know what she should do? Like the body bag.
So,
wait, first of all, you a bold mofo to step to my door and saying, yeah, I know what you did. What?
So yeah, he told Bonnie, and I really want to say her husband name is John. Yeah, her husband name is John. So Bonnie and John, I'm sorry.
Wow.
He told them like, I'm thinking about turning y'all in, and they like, wow. And he like, because niggas told me that the files is a threat to national security, and they like, no, it's not. The files is just us telling y'all that the FBI is surveilling
exactly.
us.
Chill. And
what later came out was that the guy who was like, oh, I'ma tell.
Yeah.
His girlfriend was the one pressuring him, right?
Okay, so who's this?
And he thought maybe his girlfriend was an informant for the FBI.
Bitch, and I thought you was about to say the nigga who dropped out was the informant. I'm not gonna hold you. He wasn't even an informant.
He wasn't.
He just some nigga.
They ended up convincing him, and he didn't turn them in.
Oh, great.
So how does the COINTELPRO thing come out, right?
Yes.
Because COINTELPRO, and I don't know if I was specific about this, but okay, the files that initially came out was just about surveillance, just evidence of surveillance. Okay. Yes. And then COINTELPRO is this real corrupt, this everything I talked about in the beginning. So how did that come out? So Carl Stern is the reason that it was exposed.
Okay.
So he was a news reporter, and basically he was at the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he saw one of the files, like it was a copy of the files that was stolen, and it had COINTELPRO on it. So he said, what the hell is this? And they was like, I don't know. So on March 20th, 1972, he sends a letter to the Attorney General under the Freedom of Information Act. So if you don't know, I be hoping y'all know stuff, so I don't have to explain everything.
Explain everything. Educate the people.
But the Freedom of Information Act, it gives the public the right to request access to records from any government agency. So he sent this letter to the Attorney General. He like, look, I want to see the file. Attorney General like, no, because it's a threat to national security. So then he was like, all right. He wrote to the FBI director, who also refused. So he like, all right, y'all got me fucked up. This went on for like a year. So in 1970,
just simply the
back and forth. So in 1973, he sued the Department of Justice and FBI.
I love a good lawsuit.
Saying that he deserves to, he should see it. So the judge who was on that lawsuit, he said, all right, y'all got to send me the files. Yeah. Like I get to see him.
Since it's such a threat to national security.
Let me see him. So the judge saw him. And then a couple months later, he was like, all right. Stern get to see him. Carl get to see him.
Because it wasn't a threat.
So Carl Stern, he reviews it and he broadcast the story on NBC.
Damn.
And this is where everything that I told you in the beginning is
so now it's really in
it's
the
real.
Public.
That is really in the public.
Shoot.
Everything. And we have quotes like
shout out to that judge. He said, hold on, nigga, let me see this. Let me see it for myself.
And we got quotes like, and this is quotes from the files that the FBI said.
Okay.
Activists in these organizations must not only be contained, but must be neutralized. And then we know the quote, prevent the rise of the Black Messiah, prevent Black leaders from gaining respectability. It was evidence that anti-war activist oranges were injected with laxatives. Agents hired prostitutes who had STDs to infect campus anti-war leaders. And we know this is illegal as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just a little bit.
And kind of inhumane as hell. Like,
this is just a little bit, y'all. This is a little bit. Go on Google and Google some stuff. Because this is just a little bit.
Girl.
But, yeah, this is when we find out, they took credit for the Fred Hampton killing. And it came out that a lot of people who were respected within organizations came out to be informants.
So, okay, I think I have a question in regards to when you're saying came out. So did the judge subpoena these files? Like, how are they getting more information each day? Like, where was the more information coming from?
So the more information came from when Stern requested the files.
Oh, so he requested basically everything?
He requested, and I don't know if I'm saying this is wrong,
okay.
But what I think happened when, under the Freedom of Information Act, when you request something, like if you have a basis to request something, they're supposed to give you everything in relation to that.
Oh, snap.
So that's what it came from. So once he saw COINTELPRO, because if nobody would have said, if he didn't say anything about COINTELPRO, it probably would have never came out because there was no basis for it, right? But he saw it and was like, what the fuck is this? And he pressed it, and that's how he was able to get more shit about it.
That's good. He pressed so hard, because then that would have never came out. Wow. Yeah.
You can actually see these files online if you want to go.
Girl, what?
You can go see
them. You can Google it for
them.
yourself. Damn.
You can go see them. But yeah, after this, they was like, yeah, we got to investigate.
Okay.
So it was a committee called the Church Committee, which was basically members of the U.S. Senate that was selected to investigate FBI. And this investigation led to the first ever set of guidelines limiting the FBI's investigative powers. So
they didn't have guidelines for it?
No, they were just doing whatever.
Of course they didn't.
Of course not.
Of course not. They just like, you guys vibe, and if you get in trouble, let me know.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm not playing.
So it led to the Foreign Intelligence Act, which did a lot of different things.
Okay.
It established a secret federal court to review applications for warrants. It rejected. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I'm like reading. It established procedures for surveillance. So like the way they was just watching people whenever, however, whoever. You know now you gotta have warrants. Like,
yes.
Because everything they was doing, this is what y'all gotta understand. Everything they was doing, none of that shit is admissible in court. If you don't, like, you can't be like, oh yeah, I was watching him for a year. Okay, do you have a warrant? Do you have any type of basis? No. Yeah. Exactly. And they changed the time limit for FBI directors.
Okay.
So J. Edgar Hoover was the FBI director for 48 years. Like, he died in 1971.
You know what
I think.
hate? I hate a nigga that work for life. Like, that shit is annoying to me. Because, like, give someone else 48 years?
That's a long
48, no, 40. People don't even work 48 years, bro. Like, what do you...
Yeah.
That just pissed me off.
So, just to let y'all know, the burglars were actually never caught.
Yeah!
And they revealed themselves in 2014 in the book, The Burglary, by Betsy Metzger.
I love a bold motherfucker.
And I'm going to just say their names because I feel like their names deserve to be said.
Yeah!
Keith Forsyth, Bill Davidson, which is, William Bill, John Raines, Bonnie Raines, Bob Williamson, Ron, okay. Those are real names. I'm sorry. Then the last three, they didn't want to be named, so they used fake names.
Gotcha.
Ron Durst, Susan Smith, and Janet Fessum.
I bet you if you go on Facebook right now, you can find a Susan Smith. So that's probably
real. She picked a good name.
That was a great fake name.
But that is the story.
Damn.
Of the burglary and explosion.
I'm not gonna hold you. They real as shit for not getting caught. I'm sorry, like that's real. Yeah. Like them not getting caught. That's like a triumph story. Like. They exposed them.
They were smart. I feel like, and the Burglary is the book, and then it's the documentary. I forgot what it's called. I'll like put it in the bio. But the Burglary, the documentary, you are able to get the firsthand accounts of the burglars. Yeah, Bonnie's in it.
I was just about to say who from the Burglary is in it.
Keith, John. I don't remember if Bill was in it or not. I don't think Bill was in it. I think because as Bill passed away a couple years ago, but he started to because he was like the oldest out of all of them, but he started to decline. I think when
mentally,
it was made.
But Keith was a professor, so that's good.
No, Keith wasn't a professor.
Wait, who was the other professor?
It was John and Bill. Keith was the locksmith.
Sorry, there were two Johns. John the husband or John the professor? Right?
No, John is both. He's the husband and the professor.
Oh my God, Bonnie's husband. I thought it was two Johns. You said Bonnie's husband, John.
Sorry.
And then you said John the professor. I'm like, okay, so these are two different niggas.
Sorry, these were the same person.
Damn, okay.
It's one John.
Of course she had a smart husband. That nigga was a professor and was like, nah, I'm with the cause. All right.
But yeah, that is the story. And I thought it was cool. I've known about COINTELPRO since I was like 13.
Nice.
Because of my dad. Y'all know I be talking about him.
That
Shout
man educates
him.
you. He does. He really does.
He be educating. That's what he be doing. Shout out to him. But yeah, this was kind of really a foundation episode for my next episode because I'm going to talk about somebody's specific story who was targeted by COINTELPRO.
Nice.
And I'm not going to say her name.
I have a question. Do you think, even though the way as intrusive it is in 2024 and literally you can find about somebody anyway, anyhow, do you think I'm pronouncing it right? COINTELPRO could exist in 2024 today?
Well, what I will say is yes. And I say yes because there was actually a report of COINTELPRO-like activities during 2020. You can go on YouTube, and it's a YouTube channel called I guess technically it's like a news channel as well. It's called Democracy Now. Okay. And there was a guy who was involved in some activism, and he talked about his encounters with FBI informants. So I definitely think that shit going on now. Honestly, I don't see why I wouldn't. Yeah. Because
I mean, FBI still has informants.
They still have
in the community,
and there's still a effort to thwart political activism. Yes. So I definitely do. Even with all this technology.
And you talk about 2020 when all that activism was going on. Exactly. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
I'm going to say 2020 was a pivotal year of just what is it? When they were marching and
reform,
stuff. All that kind of stuff. Like literally every other week. So I believe that.
No, I definitely think so. But wow. Yeah, I just wanted y'all to know this. Should be fucked up, and y'all should know it because they try to make you dumb, and don't be dumb. Be smart,
girl. And I don't know. I just feel sometimes when you hear about stories like these of just about like how many so you can get caught up and stuff, and you don't even know you're getting caught up, and it's
I think that's the scary part.
I think that is kind of terrifying. Like when you said like. We just cool, but you tied up in some stuff. But because I'm your friend, I'm tied up in some stuff, and it's just like I don't know. I didn't know she was tied up in that. I didn't really.
Yeah, you don't even know. Yeah, but I think the story I go into my next episode is. Should I say her name?
No. Keep them guessing. Keep them guessing.
But I think. I'm not even gonna say it.
Nah.
But
we'll save it for the next.
We'll save it for that. But thank y'all for tuning in. Yes. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for tuning in to this lovely episode. Yeah. Very, very informative.
So make sure you follow the pod on IG and make sure you subscribe and like. Make sure you follow me at Mo the Only One. Make sure you follow Zah at
Zaire J __.
Yes. And also make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel. Because she puts out
I'll be doing a little vlog here and there, but yes.
And you can catch me in a couple videos.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Y'all go back? We be turned.
You catch me in a couple videos. But
tune in.
I think that's it.
That is good.
That's it. So
see y'all in the next video.
Bye. Boom.
That was amazing. That was really amazing.